Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajatana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajatana Ranjana
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, सविता भक्त वृंद की जय। हरि हरि बोल। श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी। Faster. Phones off, please. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Chakshurinitam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Shrishtam Narvapi Shakti Putram Arthasurupam Rupam Tasrajam Natharam Goshtapatim Radha Kundam Girivaramaho Radhika Madhava Sham Prapto Yasya Pratitakta Shri Guru Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Taftarakamadam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrayatam Sakanam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijanasatam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Radha Sahaganananda Shri Vishakha Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
I'll read now a report I just received yesterday by email from Akinchan Krishna Prabhu, who's heading our center at ISKCON Vellore. Vellore is a town west of Chennai in Tamil Nadu in India. So it's a very enlivening report, so I thought I'd share that with all of you. So reporting about the Janmashtami function, which they handled that. A little bit of the history is that for the last 2 or 3 years they had the Janmashtami celebration in the center of the town. So many people used to come. Now they moved to their own land. No, it's all Krishna's land, but specifically it's registered in the name of ISKCON. So it's a large plot of land for a temple. Any ISKCON temple in India, I don't think in any city we have such a large plot. It's 7.5 acres.
Wow.
It's outside the town, but the town's growing that way. So they wanted to do the function in the center of the town as usual, because that's the land is outside and people are used to coming. But it was already booked up well in advance, so long in advance. They were able to do that. So that's a little bit of the background. This year we had our Janmashtami function in our new land itself. So we expected less crowds since we do Janmashtami for the first time in the new land. By the mercy of the Lord we had so much crowd that the whole land was full of people and cars.
Jai.
Which means a lot of people. 7.5 acres coming and going also. So next year people from the whole Vellore district, from Arakonam to Arani, came for the function, and we've become famous in the whole district. So next year we have to plan Janmashtami in a very big way to accommodate more people. Besides, the whole week daily, that means I take it to mean not just the Janmashtami week, but in general. Hundreds of people visit our temple and we keep darshan open always from morning to evening. Since our temple is near the highways, it's on the Chennai-Bangalore highway, it's a very good location. It's also near the Golden Temple, which is famous. Many people come to visit that. Some completely bogus thing, which is fairly close to the... But the man who started it, or the sadhu, or whatever you want to call him, he actually likes us. And he calls Akinchan Krishna to speak there at functions, and he sits and listens. He doesn't speak. He just listens to him. So the whole near the highway, devotees and people from Chennai and Bangalore who travel on the highway also come daily for darshan. Actually, as soon as they got that land, even they were just Akinchan Krishna, there was nothing there. He was just living in a hut. There are no snakes, which is one good thing. Didn't see any snakes. So there was no electricity, no water, anything. So, but as soon as they got the land, then the bus which goes past on the road, just adjoining that, they made a new stop, and it's gone. The conductor will call out like that. It's gone, stop. So we have an urgent need of developing this place as quickly as possible. We have to arrange for prasadam distribution also. Yeah, it's very important, so we'll be becoming much more about prasadam. All the newspapers have published about our Janmashtami function, and some newspapers have voluntarily published articles about the spiritual services of ISKCON Vellore and about our upcoming project. As usual, many leaders and donors also attended the function. That means in general, just even at the little place we had previously, people, like the head of police, actually the two SPs who are devotees now. Superintendent of police, and the mayor came, and just to a little place we had there, so previous to this land. So in this place, you have to arrange for prasadam, and we distribute. As usual, many leaders and donors also attended the function. We distributed prasadam for all devotees like Deen Dayal, Jai Panduranga, Nandagopal, Raghudas, Madhavananda, Rasikraj, and many others have worked hard the whole month to make the function successful. The new brahmacharis are doing nicely, and they preach to the visitors who daily visit the temple. Besides, they visit the different villages in Vellore district daily in the evening and do programs. It gives very good results. One boy from VIT, Vellore Institute of Technology, it's a prestigious college in the district. Actually one of the most prestigious colleges in India. Also joined full-time. Since Priya Govinda Prabhu comes this week, the brahmacharis now plan for an extensive college preaching in Vellore and Kanchipura. Sridhar Srinivas Prabhu will stay here for some time, and along with him, we plan for extensive book distribution also. Since the people and businessmen from Arani, that's a small town in Vellore district, business town, silk is the main, raw silk is the main business there. Since the people and businessmen from Arani continuously ask me for regular preaching programs there, we have decided to start some small center there. I went to Shri Rasikraj Prabhu there, and we will do regular programs there. I will spend 2 days a week there. Santana Krishna Prabhu will also help in this regard. Santana Krishna Prabhu has arranged a Janmashtami function in Maraimalai Naga. That's another place in Tamil Nadu, south of Chennai. We expect many people there also. Gokul Chandra Prabhu will be the main speaker in this year, and drama will be there. Oh, that's when they have such nice... In Chennai, there's a group of devotees who do excellent dramas. The organizer, the devotee who organizes it, he's a TV actor.
Wow.
In Tamil TV. So everyone knows he's excellent dramas, very devotional. Be the main speaker in drama. Soon Santana Krishna will wind up his press business also, and will fully engage himself in preaching. Because he has a press, but he's not been putting his mind to it. He's just fully engaged in preaching. So now he's just going to close it all together. And how will he maintain his family? I don't know. That's up to him. When you come here, next time we'll discuss about his services. Prema Mataji in Vellore and Radha Lila Mataji in Maraimalai Naga have worked hard and individually collected 50,000 rupees for Janmashtami within 12 days. We had a nice Prabhupada appearance day function. Also, your room in Prasad Bhavan is ready, and more bathrooms and latrines are getting ready. All our plants in our land are growing nicely, and within 1 year they will become small trees. When are you going to come here to bless ourselves? Agawal has got so much inspiration after seeing Janmashtami function that he has started making efforts for building the guest house on our land. I've been asked to address as the main speaker 2 important functions here. In one function I have to speak to the Kanchipuram district high school teachers about the importance of spiritual education in schools. In another function I have to speak about the revival of Vedic culture in the present day Hindu society among the sadhus and the people from different parts of Tamil Nadu. I will visit Singapore after 15 days. I may go to Sri Lanka also on the way. We will follow the preaching opportunity in Sri Parampada also. I can't remember exactly what that is.
It's a birthplace of...
Yeah, I know what Sri Parampada is, but I can't remember what the preaching opportunity is. Please pray for ourselves and our devotees to all these upcoming services. Nicely for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada. So, I just thought I'd share that with you. I found that very inspired.
And the preaching is there in Tamil, a language or like...
Tamil, completely. In most of Tamil Nadu, it's all Tamil, that's all. Hindi is useless there. English is much. I remember once, some years ago, I arrived with Basu Ghosh Prabhu in Chennai. He hadn't been there for a long time. So we were going, it must have been quite a long time ago, because we were going by auto rickshaw. These days, ISKCON is well to do, so they pick us up in some vehicle. And I was regularly going there. He obviously hadn't been there for a long time, so he was trying to talk to the rickshaw driver in Hindi. But I said, forget Hindi. They'll know English better. they don't. But in most of the state, it's just not many English speakers also. So that's very enlivening. There's so much response, which leads me to think of some things. One thing is, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Shabda Kabuna Jivesharupai Krishna Nitya Das. Everyone is by nature a pure devotee of Krishna. So the scope is there everywhere. All over the world there can be many devotees. Can be here, it seems like it's so unlikely, but actually here in America or in the West in general that many people can be devotees. But during the 1970s, when I was mercifully admitted into this movement, it seemed that Srila Prabhupada's vision was there that the whole world can become Krishna conscious. And actually there's really no reason why not. As Srila Prabhupada sometimes said, that if we offer people nice food, relatively peaceful way of life, and all nice culture, nice friends, nice people, then why were people not take to it? So even more now than then. I mean, the whole... actually at that time, it was still largely felt that everything is wonderful, at least in the Western world. Everything's good in the Western world. The only problem is the Soviet Union. But our way of life is very good, and the hippies were a rebellion against that. Cultural rebellion against that. They didn't like this materialistic society in which they were brought up. But they just went to another form of materialism, and eventually they merged back. And now they're all professors and heads of companies, and they just merge back into the system. There are a few cultural changes. People they wear their hair longer than they used to. But basically they're the same. They've merged back into the materialistic society. So, but nowadays that optimism that was still running on, that by science and by education, the whole society will be so wonderful and so nice, that's gone. And people can understand. Well, they could understand if they weren't so intoxicated with direct intoxication, and then sexual intoxication and cinema intoxication and sports intoxication. But people increasingly can understand that, that this society is hopeless, or at least they themselves they don't have the feeling of hope that everything will be all right and everything will be nice. There are just such big problems in so many ways. And guess what? They're not going to get better. That's another thing. There's no thought that things are going to get better. It's just how to contain it from getting worse. That's all. Just like they talk about going, as we just said, going green. They call it green fuel. If it pollutes 20% less, they say it's ecologically friendly fuel. Green energy. They make these windmills for which they have to exploit the earth and make cables. And so what's green about it? They use the wind, but they have so much infrastructure to set that up, and all the machines they run also on it.
And so many birds die actually with the wings.
With the wind, they
are flying and
they
get
go into the
up.
windmill, isn't it? Yeah. So if they are lucky enough to survive the waves from the towers, the microwaves from the towers, then they may be windmilled to death. So, Srila Prabhupada, he had this vision that we should make these farm communities, Varnashram. Yesterday, your wife came to me and said that she's concerned about her son. He has no interest in education because you keep on telling him it's all useless. And she's worried, what will happen to me when I'm old? I was talking about looking after, parents should be looked after by their children. But it just underscores to me, again, the urgent need to have our own communities in which, I mean, previously people had no anxiety about education or what will happen to them in their old age. They were educated according to their need, just like a potter's son. He doesn't have to learn about the history of Antarctica or what's going on in outer space. He doesn't have to learn any such things. He doesn't have to learn calculus. He just has to learn how to make pots, that's all. Or actually the potters, it's not just pots. Traditionally they make this cups and this, what's they called? Some vessel for putting the oil lamp, and there's so many other things. And some of them will make deities also. That's a little more temporary deities. That's another. So there's no anxiety. And old age there's also no anxiety, because one thing, I think education is not an anxiety, because they're educated at home. And if the boys are actually going to get education like Brahmanas or Kshatriyas, the education is free. That's all. Local Brahmanas teach. And what do they give? They're given some, when the harvest comes, you give them a bag of rice or something like that, daily little something to go along. And then when they have to get their daughters married, then people give some dakshina. And it's all, no hassle, no anxiety. And old age, it's not a big thing to look after people. They just people stay at home. They may leave early after renounced, and it's not a major thing. They don't. And people, what I've seen, they just get old and they don't go in for like expensive treatments to try and eke out their life for another few years. Just even right in Tamil Nadu also, there's an old man you see. his children wanted to take him for treatment. And he said, no, it's all right. I'll live life, that's all. What's the point? I'm already 80 years old. What's the point of living any longer? So like that. Why should I trouble anyone any further? So if we have these communities, traditional communities, and there's all these things, old age, education, the idea you have to educate your children, and then only they can survive, which is the propaganda. But the really smart people, they cut out of education. I mean, even materially speaking. They cut out of it and do something innovative. The smartest people, they don't need all that. It's just education, how to become a Shudra. So, highly educated Shudras. So that's the solution. I hope I didn't cause some domestic turmoil by telling you that. But naturally people are in anxiety, what will happen to me, what will happen to my children. But there's this whole myth created that we are dependent on the system as it is now. We can't, unless we get a job, we can't live. Unless we get education, we can't get a good job. This whole idea. Just forgetting the fact that Krishna has provided everything in the earth. So that's one thought. Another thought is that while everyone in the world can become Krishna conscious, practically we're seeing that people in India especially respond very quickly. I mean, we haven't really even done that much in Vellore, but whatever we do is a tremendous response. It's a traditional Vaishnava area, not Gauriya Vaishnava. But tremendous, surprisingly good response. In Salem, the public is also responding well, but not as spontaneously or as quickly as in Vellore. Of course, that may be because previously some of the devotees went down there, and so that could be a factor. But what a difference culture makes. And we see that all over the world in different places we get different kinds of responses. Generally in Catholic countries we get better response than Protestant countries. Generally speaking, people are more open to spiritual leadership, spiritual life in general, because Protestantism tends to be very materialistic. In Australia, quite a good response, even though it's basically, I wouldn't even call it an atheistic place, it's just almost unreligious. People have just no interest in religion. I saw some report of Richard Dawkins going down there. He's practically wasting his time down there because people are not interested in religion anyway. It's good. Among the Western countries, it's not that they're against it, there's just no interest. I guess, what is there? There's the beach and Foster's and whatever sport you're into. They're really into sports, right? We have so many sports down there. That's about it. Going out with the mates.
That's it.
I haven't been there for a long time, but probably hasn't changed that much. A lot of Chinese gone there in the meantime, Indians. So, but also culturally, because they have an attitude of being open and favouring the underdog is very strong. They're giving people a fair go and all that kind of thing. So Australians are very open to our movement. In what used to be called Eastern Europe and Russia also, people tend to be more open and less complicated. One major reason for that is less sense gratification. the more sense gratification, the more people actually become crazy. They actually become, there's so much mental imbalance in the Western world. As I saw so many things you see written here and there. 2 or 3 years ago I saw written that 70% of people in America seek psychiatric treatment during their life. That means the whole country is crazy. And they either seek it or someone seeks it for them. And the other 30%, they're probably just as crazy, but they don't, somehow or other they don't go for treatment. Maybe they're the ones who are in prison. It's about 30%, not quite that much, but it's a large percentage are in prison. But that's a fact, and that's not just my comment, but it's right there in Bhagavad Gita. Who can think? Where it's stated, you become crazy by sense gratification. No. That not as clearly. That's aparita cetasa, means covered consciousness. Oh. Anyone? Dhayato vishayan punsa sangasteshu vajayate sangat sanjayate kama krodho vajayate. Krodhat bhavati sammoha. Sammoha means bewilderment. Sammohat smriti vibhramaha. Smriti bhramshat buddhi nasha. When intelligence is destroyed. Buddhi nashat pranashati. So from sense gratification, one actually becomes crazy. One's intelligence is completely spoiled. And that we're practically seeing. So, along with Varnashram, we have to set up a whole culture of Krishna consciousness. That's a great challenge. It's not, when we say a social system, generally we think in terms of economics, but the culture is very important also. And that's still there in India to some extent, I mean to a large extent. When you're in India you think it's all evaporating very quickly. When you come to the West you can see how it's still so much better culturally. Although many Western people, including devotees who go to India, can't see that. They just see the dirt and the crowds, and they don't see the culture. The Russians see it. They're very they can find the spiritual culture, but they don't. But generally, they don't discriminate very well between who's who and what's what. So, these are a few random thoughts. Any questions about this? Yeah. A few random and general thoughts. Okay, that class was good enough to get a gun on me.
It seems that Srila Prabhupada's grand vision of Krishna consciousness in the world, taking over the world, it seems that Srila Prabhupada didn't have too high expectations.
Srila Prabhupada didn't have too high expectations
from the general populace, in other words. And he often referred to them, like, send such people to the farm. I mean, they might be devotees of a sort. And what does that mean, that in the future there will be just a few initiated devotees, and initiation will gain some kind of a different concept?
Who said that?
I'm just throwing over them.
Well, from what I understand, Srila Prabhupada set up ISKCON to be a Brahminical movement, and he wanted to train Brahmins to lead the world. From what I see, Srila Prabhupada didn't actually want or expect ISKCON to become the world, so to speak. He said that we can advise the leaders, but we're not going to take political posts. And in the farm communities, that's a question that comes up. Is everyone expected to follow very strictly? Or can they just come and do some work? In New Vrindavan, they had a colony of people who like to do some work and be maintained. But there was no supervision of them, and then they do work and then they smoke dope and all kinds of things. So in the beginning, we should in our farm communities we should have strict standards. Otherwise, it can just degenerate very quickly. But gradually, it may be like that. Just like in Mayapur, Srila Prabhupada, I think that's forgotten now. Srila Prabhupada said there should be, as was in traditional society until recently, that there'd be an area in the town for Brahmanas, an area for Kshatriyas, an area for Vaishyas, an area for Shudras. And then outside the town, the others live also, who are not within any of the four castes. And they also, like Chandalas, they also have a function. They have a social function to perform. They take the dead cows and take the skin off them and make that into shoes and things like that. And leather also has its usages. It needs a lot of research. That's one thing that's very sure. We have to research, and we also have to see what's practical and what can be accepted. But Brahmanas, there may be a very small number of them in our society who are learned in Shastra, well behaved. It doesn't mean that others can't be devotees. And again, when we say Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, we want to divide society like that. But that's one. Yeah, that's for social division. But we should accept everyone as Vaishnavas also. So we don't want to get into caste consciousness. It's a social division, not that we think that Brahman. In one sense, of course, definitely Brahmanas are to be understood as and respected more than Shudras. But whoever's a Vaishnava is on a better platform than even highly learned and cultured non-devotee. By highly learned, I mean in Shastra. But socially still, we give, just like we may meet people in India, like Mayavadi, sannyasi. I mean, real Mayavadis, not just these opportunists like the Sri Sri or someone like that. But real traditional, the Shankaracharyas. So naturally, we respect them. Or Madhva sannyasis. Naturally, we respect them for their culture, their learning, their self-discipline, and the tradition that they represent. But we know that even a devotee who's not very advanced is spiritually much better situated than some Shankaracharya who knows all the Vedas and is strictly following so many principles. That's all. Will everyone be initiated? Everyone can be initiated into Harinam if they're following. Brahminical initiation should be for Brahmins who are actually living and acting as Brahmins. Otherwise it becomes meaningless. If it's just given to everyone, then what's the meaning? If we're actually going to set up a Brahminical society. There can also be, if it's understood as Vaishnava initiation, then everyone can be also, because that's mentioned in Shastra. That anyone, that, what is that? Yata kanchanatam. What is that? Yata kanchanatam. Let's see. Forgetting what that was. Yeah. Anyone can have Vaishnava initiation. Kanchan means gold. Yata Kanchanatam Yati Kansyam Rasa Vidhanataha Tata Diksha Vidhanena Dvijagam Jayati. Any human can be, by the process of Diksha, can attain twice-born status, just like by the addition of mercury, bell metal can be transformed into gold. It means it changes, or becomes upgraded into a significantly higher quality.
What diksha is that referring to?
Pancharatri Diksha, that's what Srila Prabhupada referred to as Brahminical initiation, because he wanted the devotees to be Brahmins, but traditionally that initiation would be called Vaishnavi Diksha or Pancharatri Diksha. Yeah, here's Srila Prabhupada in relation to this. It is said that in this age of Kali, everyone is a Shudra due to the absence of the Garbhadhan Sanskar. This is the Vedic system. The Vedic system, if there's no Garbhadhan Sanskar, then the whole family is degraded to the status of Shudras. So even the so-called Brahmanas in this age, although many of them may have Brahminical culture, no, some. So the Vedic system is by birth, also generally that's a major factor. According to the Pancharatric system, however, even though everyone is a Shudra due to the absence of the Garbhadhan Sanskar, if a person has but a little tendency to become Krishna conscious, he should be given the chance to elevate himself to the transcendental platform. Our Krishna conscious movement adopts this Pancharatric Vidhi, as advised by Srila Sanatana Goswami, who says Yata. Now, yeah, the Hari, what we call Harinam Diksha, that's generally different. At least we can say in the Gauriya Mat, that's called Harinam and Diksha, but Srila Prabhupada called what we call first initiation. He called it initiation. So it seems that Srila Prabhupada put most emphasis on what we call Harinam, what we call first initiation.
So that, I guess, then corresponds to Bhajana Kriya.
Yeah, Bhajana Kriya means that one...
You begin the bhajan.
Yeah, that's... Tata Gurvashaya Krishna Diksha Anushikshanam Vishrambhina Guru Seva. The first items in devotional service are to take shelter of a Guru. That's when one's actually come to the point of coming to Krishna consciousness, to take shelter of a Guru, to be initiated by him, to take instruction from him, and to serve him with much affection.
So that doesn't seem to be referring to the Brahminical initiation.
No. That's why I'm saying that Srila Prabhupada referred to that as Brahminical initiation, because he had a vision to change the world by bringing a new class of Brahmanas, but traditionally what he awarded, it's not considered specifically Brahminical. It's considered a Vaishnava initiation, which allows one to worship deities and perform functions that would traditionally be performed by Brahmanas. So, Hare Krishna. Anything else?
In terms of realization, when there is a Mayavadi who is meditating on the Supreme and there is a devotee, I know, like they say, in terms of light and peace and all that. What's the kind of realization differences we?
The realization difference between that of of a Mayavadi and that of a devotee. The Mayavadi is really, first of all, there comes a conception of what is our goal. So the fact that Mayavadis, they have only impersonal means they cannot go beyond unless they come into contact with and accept guidance from Vaishnava. Vaishnava, his realization is that I am a servant of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mayavadi's realization is that I am Supreme. Aham Brahmasmi. When he understands himself to be the Supreme, which is nonsense.
If I could continue with this topic of Brahminical initiation.
It's somewhat complex topic, which needs to be unraveled. Even historically, we have to see what Bhaktivinoda Thakur wanted to revive Varnashram. He told Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur to do that. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati took it to some level. Srila Prabhupada wanted to take it to much more of a level. And we have largely forgotten it altogether. But historically also we have to see it.
We also see that the upper three classes of the society will be given...
They'd be given Brahmin threads, yeah. Although even the upper three classes in society would have more Brahmin threads. They're not Yagyopavit, which allows them to the thread which allows them to participate in yagyas. But gradually that practice had been largely dropped, except among Brahmanas. In the 19th century, it seems that the lower caste, but again there's so many jatis in India, and some kept and some didn't, but in general, especially in Bengal, only the Brahmanas would keep the thread. And nowadays you won't see, hardly you'll see anyone outside of Brahmin caste who has a thread. And often the Brahmins, so-called, they don't wear it either, which is maybe better. So it came to be identified largely with the Brahmanas.
What should I do as a temple president who is regularly asked to recommend disciples for first and second initiation?
What should you do? You could ask the gurus, why do they want to get Brahmin initiation? Why? Especially I see our congregational members, many of them, it's just to chant their 16 rounds somehow or other is to a large extent their spiritual life during the week at least. And how are they Brahmins? And they're earning, they're being paid for a job, which is a Shudra activity.
Should they be allowed to worship the deity?
If it's considered that it's Vaishnava initiation, then they can be. But if you say Brahmin initiation, that's what I'm saying. It's the terminology. If we just change the terminology, it might be a little better. But even then, how much absorption is there for someone who's... I don't want to undermine the sincerity of people. I mean, it's a great achievement for anyone who has to work and maintain their family and still be in Krishna consciousness. It's a great achievement, but the actual fact is that most of their life, energy and thoughts go into social and economic matters. It's just the situation that they're in.
I personally wouldn't consider them Brahmins, but in order for them to worship the deity, they need to be given the Yagya Upavita.
Yeah. So if it's considered
And
this is Vaishnava initiation, then that's...
Quite a few of them, they have their jobs and then they travel long distances to temple once, twice a week to serve the deity.
I'd say if they do that, let them come and serve the deity before. They can make the plate, wash the vessel. Let's see if they're ready to do that for some time. I would say. See their dedication and understanding. Let them come and serve the deity like that for some time, and then afterward we could see. I know one Tamil president, there's one disciple of mine, she's crying for years, I want initiation so I can cook for the deities. And Tamil president says that, well, let her come and do service, she can cut the vegetables and everything, and then later we'll see. But she doesn't want to do that, she only wants to do the cooking. So he doesn't give the recommendation. I'm quite happy with that, actually. Okay, Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.